Yes, Your Honor. Respondent appears via Zoom and by and through counsel, Catherine Dorgan.
And Your Honor, Darren Patterson, attorney of record for purposes of Connor Gullick. Judge, I would tell the court that previously at a hearing back in, looks like last year, I did represent Mr. Gullick in May, that there was a proposed decree of paternity prepared. It was emailed to Miss Goode. She requested some changes. I made those changes, sent it back to Miss Goode. After that, though, I never heard from her whether she approved it or not. And then also, I never heard from my client after that. I have been attempting to contact Mr. Gullick through mail, email, and phone, have been unsuccessful. We did file a motion to withdraw. That motion has never been journalized with an order, but I would ask the court to allow the order to withdraw here today based upon my inability to have any contact with Mr. Gullick.
All right, so the journal entry from this May 2024 hearing has never been filed, doesn't look like.
No, Your Honor, I did send copies to counsel, Miss Dorgan. It included a copy of what Miss Goode had sent me with lots of different marks on it where she's requested changes. I then sent also Miss Dorgan a copy of all the changes that were requested by Miss Goode. And I basically left it at that. I really don't have a lot of authority to do much else.
Right, and you haven't had any communication from Mr. Gullick?
I've reached out every way I can, as well as I got a hold of Miss Dorgan, asked if she would ask her client to pass on a message to my client to get a hold of me, but I have not heard from him at all.
All right, so we don't know if he even is aware of this hearing?
I cannot tell the court he is aware of this hearing. We used our every means available to us to send copies of the notices and the motion, but I can't tell the court any more than that at this point.
All right, Ms. Dorgan, first issue regarding the May 2024 journal entry. What is your position regarding that?
Yes, Your Honor. I only became aware of that yesterday, and if I'm being honest, because of the snow, I haven't been able to connect with my client on that issue. We've been out of the office, and I was not able to with my kids at home. So I'm not aware of exactly what happened in that hearing or why it has not been journalized or what was agreed to. I just know that on the record there doesn't seem to be any signed agreement between the parties.
Okay. And do you know, either through your client or otherwise, whether Mr. Gullick is aware of the current motion and the proceeding today?
I do not, unless I spoke to my client. She said that he had not mentioned anything about it today, but I'm not sure how much communication that they have.
All right. Do they communicate with one another for the drop-offs and exchange of the child?
It's my understanding that the petitioner's mother does most of the exchanges, but that could not be accurate entirely. But that's my understanding.
Do you take a position on Mr. Patterson's request to withdraw, Ms. Dorgan?
I have no objections, Your Honor. I just am not sure how to get a hold of him if he's not responding to.
And Judge, I would have one question for counsel with the court's permission.
Go ahead.
And my question was going to be whether Miss Goode was able to pass on the information to Mr. Gullick that his attorney was trying to get a hold of him and to please call him.
I don't know that she was able to do that. We were not able to connect the way that I would have liked to this week, Your Honor. So
would you like to have a breakout room with your client, or would that help maybe?
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Goode, do you know how to do a breakout room? You'll get a prompt. It'll say join. It's usually, I think, a purple
Yeah,
prompt, and that'll put you both in a private meeting.
yes, sir.
All right, Darren, if you wouldn't mind just sticking around just for a couple more minutes, and then we'll
Yes, Judge.
get you out of here. All right, Ms. Dorgan, what did you find out?
Yes, Your Honor. So, they really do not communicate particularly. She has texted him now to see if he plans on attending the hearing. She had communicated with his mother about this hearing and, when it was and what was happening, and his roommate, but not directly with him. In terms of the previous hearing, there were certain agreements. She'd requested some more changes, I guess, to that journal entry and a parenting plan. And that she says they weren't made to the degree that she was hoping for. And so no agreement had been fully met on that.
All
in
right.
that-
Well, it sounds like we'll need to settle that journal entry at some point. All right, Mr. Patterson, you've done your due diligence, it sounds like, in trying to communicate with your client and attempting to get the journal entry resolved.
And Judge, just for the record, I would tell the court, I've just now sent an email to Ms. Dorgan. It does have the proposed journal entry that had my client's signature, for whatever that's worth at this point. I just want to provide it to counsel, so she has that. We also then sent out a Zoom link to the email address we had for him. So yes, I've done everything I can to try and have him present.
Okay, and it sounds like you passed on all of your materials to try to settle the journal entry.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's no objection from Ms. Dorgan, then Mr. Patterson, I'll go ahead and allow you to withdraw from the case.
We'll submit that proposed order here shortly, and I've just asked if Ms. Dorgan would allow me to add her e-signature to my withdrawal. Nothing else is on it, just allowing me to withdraw.
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay.
All
Thank
right. Thanks, Darren.
you. Have a good day. Thank you.
You too. All right. Next thing we need to try to resolve is if Mr. Gullick has proper notice of what's going on, and I typically, when you send it through counsel, they're assumed to be aware of the hearing. How are you wanting to proceed at this time, Ms. Dorgan?
I would want us to proceed without him if I think he's had proper notice of this hearing. It sounds like he has been, if he's received it by mail, by email, by calls from, we confirmed the number that Darren had for his client just to make sure that it was correct. So I think that he's had proper notice. So we would ask that the court hear our motion.
All right, so where is your client living currently, Ms. Dorgan?
Wow, that's a good question, Your Honor. I have your address.
I don't need the exact address. I was just
In Benton.
in Benton. And where does Connor Gullick live, if you know?
I do not know that, Your Honor.
All right,
Makes you
Miss
more
Goode, do you know what town he lives in?
Yeah, he still lives in Eureka, Kansas.
Okay, and where does his mom live?
She also lives in Eureka.
Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and take up the motion at this time, Ms. Dorgan. If I've read through the motion, but I'll allow you to make argument on it at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will note that if there was some kind of a hearing where a final agreement was made, then obviously this would be a motion to modify that rather than a motion to modify the ex parte orders, though obviously the record is unclear of that.
Well, I can tell you if it would be of any benefit to you, what the docket notes reflect the orders have been made. Originally, back on January 29th of 2024, Mr. Patterson was representing Mr. Gullick. Ms. Goode was pro se. They had agreed to paternity, joint legal custody, shared week-to-week residency. They were still working on a child support worksheet at that time. It's my understanding the child support issue was later resolved, but could be affected based on decisions made today. Then on the May 22nd hearing, there was a request made from Ms. Goode regarding the right of first refusal or whether a babysitter should be present. And then those, I think, were what the hangup was in getting the journal entry resolved. So basically, the parenting plan that had been agreed to was a shared residential week-to-week.
Okay. And it's my understanding that that's really what they've been doing, Your Honor. However, the child is staying with the petitioner's mother for the majority of the week. The petitioner seems to work 12 to 18-hour days. He is gone from the home, doesn't even necessarily visit their child in the evenings. He doesn't sleep at the house that the child is staying at, only really visits with the child on the weekends. It's my understanding that sometimes the child will stay with him at his residence on the weekends, but the majority of the time, the child is staying with petitioner's mother. She's doing all of the exchanges, to a majority of them at least. To that point, my client would ask the court to change custody to be shared legal, absolutely, but primary residency with the respondent, and to give petitioner parenting time every other weekend from, I think, 7 p.m. on a Friday through 7 p.m. on a Sunday. And
How old is the child now?
Ooh, Briley, how old is your
And
child?
Mr. Gullick has just joined the meeting, it looks like.
Okay.
The child is 2 years old.
Okay. Mr. Gullick?
Yes,
Can you turn on your video, please?
yes, sir.
All right, good morning.
Morning.
We started at 9 o'clock. What's happened so far is Darren Patterson, who is representing you, had filed a motion to withdraw, indicating he hadn't been able to have sufficient contact with you to resolve pending issues. The courts allowed him to withdraw, and we're taking up Ms. Goode's motion to modify the orders, the residency plan. So do you have any questions?
No,
Have you received the copy of the motion to modify the temporary orders?
I don't think I have.
All right. Essentially, the request is to modify those orders to switch the shared residency to primary residency with Ms. Goode. And the request, I believe, is for every other weekend visits with you. So that, and Ms. Dorgan, I'm sorry to have you do this. Can you just state, for purposes of the record, now that Mr. Gullick is here, the why your client's making a request?
Yes. Yes, respondent appears via Zoom. The request, excuse me, Your Honor, petitioner now appears via Zoom. Respondent's request is that we modify the parenting plan based on the minor child staying with the petitioner's mother during the week, that he is working 12 to 14-hour days. He is not visiting the child during the week. His mother is doing the exchanges. Child is staying with mother the majority of the weekends, and only occasionally with the respondent. So we're requesting modification of the parenting plan to reflect mother as primary residency and parenting time for father from 7 p.m. on a Friday through 7 p.m. on a Sunday. We filed a proposed parenting plan that reflects that with a child support worksheet that also reflects that change. That issues child support in the amount of $496 per month. And I obviously haven't had communication based off of the petitioner's income, Your Honor, so we just went off of what DCF used when they filed theirs.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dorgan. All right,
Yeah.
Mr. Gullick, were you able to hear the what's being proposed? You're muted.
Yes, I did.
All right, and what is your position on the proposal?
Well, I thought we settled with the 153, but since we didn't, then I mean, I can do the 496.
Yeah, well, let's first address the modification to the parenting plan to change primary residency to Miss Goode, and you having parenting time every other weekend from 7 p.m. on Friday to 7 p.m. on Sunday. Do you take a position on that request?
No, not really.
So you're not opposed to that?
No.
All right, and then that would then, because Miss Goode would be the primary custodian, that would cause an increase in child support from the current amount to 496, and you're not objecting to that?
No.
Okay, do you have any questions about what's been proposed and what the orders will be?
No, I don't.
Okay, are there any other components other than the standard fare, Ms. Dorgan, that'll be part of this proposed parenting plan?
I don't believe so. I'm just looking through it. Respondent is covering insurance as long as that's available. Shared expenses based on child support worksheet for any non-covered medical bills. I'm not sure if the holiday schedule matches the one that was previously agreed on, but I can take a look at that and see if it matches or see if there's any differences. And we can possibly edit that based off of that. But other than that, no, I don't believe there's anything non-standard in the parenting plan. We do have the first right refusal. Did you see that?
I'm just gonna adopt the proposed parenting plan as the order of the court. The other issue that still will need to be resolved then is the past journal entry. I think that needs to be done just so we've got a good, clean file. So is that something you think you can accomplish by submitting a proposed order, or do you think we'll need to have a hearing to settle that? I mean, we can probably get you copies of the docket notes of what's been ordered.
Yeah.
That might help assist you.
I think so, Your Honor. That I think that the edits were minimal and based on what I'm seeing in the document Darren emailed me. So I think that we can accomplish that without a hearing, but I'm happy to contact the court if we have any issues.
Okay. I think what I'll ask you to do is prepare the final hearing from today, as well as the journal entry from the May 2024 hearing and just do those Rule 170 to Mr. Gullick. Mr. Gullick, can you provide a current address?
Yes.
Right, go ahead.
Ready? 1006 North Main Street, Eureka, Kansas.
And do you have an email address?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what is that?
It's CONNOR period Hughes HUGHES 59 at iCloud.com.
You said HUGES?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Dorgan, anything else you feel we need to address here this morning?
Nothing further that I can think of, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Gullick, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
All right, so where are we at? It's Wednesday today. Shall we have the new parenting plan? When's that gonna start? When's it gonna be his first weekend under that?
Who has your daughter right now?
I
She
do.
doesn't.
It's my week.
Okay. If Mr. Gullick has his first weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, is that agreeable?
I think that makes sense.
Perfect.
So, Mr. Gullick, your first weekend under this new modified plan will start next Friday, and that's at 7 p.m.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what's the exchange look? Is it the exchange location still the same?
No. Well, yeah, sometimes.
Miss Dorgan, where do the exchanges take place?
I don't know that specifically, Your Honor.
Miss Goode, where have the exchanges typically been occurring?
We usually exchange at Walmart in El Dorado. Sometimes his mom will ask me to meet at the Dillons, that's also in El Dorado. But other than that, it doesn't go any further outside of that in any direction. Unless they're coming to Wichita for something, then they'll just swing by and drop her off or pick her up.
Yeah, we probably ought to make sure that we've got a set exchange location proposal. Miss Dorgan?
My proposal would be to continue with the Walmart, if that is easiest for the parties. I think it makes sense geographically.
Okay,
For-
Mr.
for the
Gullick,
weekend.
any objection to Walmart and El Dorado being the exchange location?
No.
Okay. All right, any other details that need to be addressed in this new parenting plan?
No.
All right, okay. What will happen, Mr. Gullick? Miss Dorgan will send you the proposed orders. If you don't have any objection to those will be made in order of the court. If you feel that they don't reflect what's been ordered here today, you'll have to file an objection with the court. Otherwise, those will become finalized. So, and all those do is reflect what the court's orders were. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
All right. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Ms. Dorgan, did you have anything else?
Nothing else, Your Honor. And I will
Okay.
email you, Connor, just so that you have my email, should you need to contact for anything.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.